Happy Sabbath, everybody. Uh, Missed last week. I'm gonna try to get a little video in today. We finished up Isaiah and did the new month celebration on the 18th on the biblical Hebrew calendar. Um, I had a brother recommend. Was trying to figure out what to do next, and he recommended the minor prophets. So I scrolled down here, and the first one that popped up is Hosea. So I guess I'm going to do that. And then just may just continue on with the minor prophets. So this is the Dead Sea Scrolls, some translations here. Hosea chapter 1. I started to do Daniel, but I was like, I don't know. I kind of stay away from. I like to read it for myself and use Daniel Revelation, but as far as reading the whole book on here, I try to be selective with what I do on YouTube. So this is a Bible study for everybody. If I get anything right, all glory to the Father. If I get anything wrong, that's my fault. Apologies. If you see anything you want to share, feel free to share. Maybe I missed something, or somebody else might need to know. So we're supposed to edify the body. And so, I study scripture and I like to get on here and share the scriptures with other believers. And, if you're not keeping the Sabbath, I highly recommend. It's a wonderful day of rest. And it was established in the beginning for a reason. I'll show you. See, in Genesis 2:2, seventh day he rested, the Sabbath day, and he sanctified it at the beginning in the beginning of creation. So it still stands. There's nothing. The creation's still here. Sabbath's still here. All right, so Hosea 1, I've got the Dead Sea Scrolls pulled up, and then I've got the Brenton Septuagint pulled up. Let me zoom in a little bit there. And then, too big. There we go. Got the Thompson pulled up. I don't use it very much, but there's the Thompson Septuagint, and there's Samaritan Pentateuch, which has some readings that the Dead Sea Scrolls matches that differ from the Masoretic text. So I do use Samaritan Pentateuch for the first 5 books. All they have is the first 5 books. Sadducees. Blue Letter Bible and KJV pulled up for the Masoretic text. All right, so we'll do a little Bible reading today. Hosea chapter 1. The word of Yahuwah which came to Hosea the son of Beri, and this is because this is the Greek Septuagint. When the words get translated into Greek, the Hebrew, it doesn't preserve the Hebrew names very well. So you'll see a lot of the Hebrew names get messed up. So when you go over here, you'll see the correct name in the Masoretic text, because they do translate over into English fairly well, but they do not translate from Greek to English or from Hebrew to Greek very well. And then that, like, you get the New Testament, and our New Testament comes from Greek. So if it had an original Hebrew source, you'll see the names match the Greek Septuagint, because the names, they don't carry over into Greek. So when it get carried from Greek to English, the names got messed up. So the word of Yahuwah which came to Hosea the son of Beri in the days of Ozias and Jotham and Achaz and Hezekiah, kings of Yehuda. In the days, there's no J in Old English, no J in Hebrew. It's a Y. Yehuda. In the days of Jeroboam, son of Joaz, king of Yisrael. The beginning of the word of Yahuwah by Hosea. And Yahuwah said to Hosea, Go take to thyself a wife of fornication and children of fornication, for the land will surely go a whoring in departing from Yahuwah. So he went and took Gomer, daughter of Diblam, and she conceived and bore him a son. And Yahuwah said to him, Call his name Yezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Yezreel on the house of Yehudah, and will make to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. And it shall be in that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Yezreel. And she conceived again and bore a daughter. So that's verse 6. She conceived and bore a daughter. Then he said to him, Call her name Lo Ruhamah, for I will no longer have mercy on the house of Israel, that I should in any way pardon them. But I will have mercy on the house of Yehudah, and will save them by Yahuwah their Elohim, and will not save them by bow, sword, battle, horses, or horsemen. Now when she had weaned Lo Ruhamah, she conceived and bore a son. He said, Call his name Lo Ami, for you are not my people, and I will not be yours. So let's go over here to Blue Letter. Blue Letter Bible is a useful tool. Go down here to Hosea 1:6. That's the Masoretic text. These vowel pointings here on the consonants, those are not in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So lo ru kama, no mercy. So the Hebrew name means no mercy, right? So what did he say? For I will no longer have mercy. So what he was doing was naming them based on what was going on. So no mercy, he's not going to have mercy on the house of Israel. And Lo Ami, Lo Ami, Lo is not Ami, not my people. Ami, my people. Is people. The Yod is my. Not people, my. Not my people. So that goes with Lo Ami, for you are not my people. So he called him. His name is not my people. He said, For you are not my people, and I will not be yours. Yet the number of the children of Israel will be as the sand of the sea, which can't be measured or counted, and it will come to pass in the place where it was said to them, You are not my people, they will be called sons of the living God. The children of Yehudah and the children of Israel will be gathered together, and they will appoint themselves one head, and will go up from the land, for great will be the day of Yisrael. Go back. And you can look here. So you got the Masoretic text, and then down here, so you got what the Septuagint's got. So if we go here, Yisrael. Yisrael. God sows. That's when he regathers Israel, puts them back in the land. So he's sowing the land. God will sow. And these lexicons are a lot better than Strong's Concordance. If you use that which God planted. And Israel in Scripture is his vineyard. So he plants Israel. types of people. Yeah. So we have Lo Ami and Lo Ruhamah, and we also have the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom. So we got, and this is, so they're called not his people now, but when he regathers them, children of Judah and the children of Israel, we gather together, right? So if we go over here, go to, oh, and by the way, I don't claim to be a teacher. It's a Bible study. I'm just sharing some things that I've studied and learned, test it, pray about it, ask Father to reveal it to you. He's the one that gives knowledge. So you go to him and you study the word. You do the work and he answers the prayer. So Ezekiel 36, you son of man, prophesy to the mountains of Israel and say, you mountains of Israel, hear Yahuwah's word. Thus says the master Yahuwah, because the enemy has said against you, aha, and the ancient high places are ours in possession. What's right now? They're in the possession of another people because the UN created that state of Israel. Not that some people there can't be Israel, but they call it theirs in possession, and it's not theirs. He hasn't returned Israel yet. Therefore prophesy and say, thus says the Master Yahuwah, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession to the residue of the nations, and you are taken up in the lips of talkers and the evil report of the people. Therefore, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahuwah. And it's interesting, in the Dead Sea Scrolls it says the mountains are prophets. Thus says Yahuwah to the mountains and to the hills and to the watercourses, to the valleys. So sometimes it's prophets, sometimes it's just mountains. To the desolate wastes and to the cities that are forsaken, which have become a prey and a derision to the residue of the nations that are all around. So they have become a prey and derision to the residue of the nations that are all around. Therefore, thus says the Master Yahuwah, surely in the fire of my jealousy I have spoken against the residue of the nations and against all Edom. They have appointed my land to themselves for possession with the joy of all their heart, with despite of soul, to cast it out for a prey. Therefore prophesy concerning the land of Israel, and tell the mountains, the hills, the watercourses, and the valleys. Thus says the Master Yahuwah, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my wrath, because you have borne the shame of the nations. Therefore, thus says the Master Yahuwah, I have sworn, surely the nations that are around you will bear their shame. But you, mountains of Israel, you shall shoot out your branches and yield your fruit to my people Israel, for they are at hand to come. So they are at hand to come back. For behold, I am for you, and I will come to you, and you will be tilled and sown. I will multiply men on you, all the house of Israel, even all of it. The cities will be inhabited, and the waste places will be built. 10. Keep that in mind. Waste places will be built. 10. There. Yep. So we're going to have to flip over. Got to fill in some of the blanks. 11 and 12. Sometimes the translations line up, sometimes they don't. And I'll multiply men and cattle upon you, and I will cause you to dwell as at the beginning. What happened the first time when he took them out of Egypt? He caused them to dwell in Israel, and will treat you well as in your former times. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah, and I will increase men upon you, even my people Yisrael, and they shall inherit you, and you shall be to them for a possession, and you shall no more be bereaved of them. Thus says the Master Yahuwah, because they say to you, you are a devourer of men, and have been a bereaver of your nation, therefore you shall devour men no more, and not bereave your nation any more, says the Master Yahuwah. And there shall no more be heard against you the reproach of the nations, and you shall no more bear the revilings of the peoples, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Has that happened yet? No, they still revile and say stuff against Israel over there. So this has not happened yet. 16. And the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel dwelt upon their land and defiled it by their way, their unclean way. There's a good way, there's a bad way. The way of life, the way of death. With their idols and with their uncleannesses, and their way was before me like the uncleanness of a removed woman. Okay, so that's in there. In her impurity. Therefore I poured out my wrath on them for the blood which they had poured out on the land, and because they had defiled it with their idols. So what blood did they pour out on the land? That's a good hint to who Mystery Babylon is. In her was found the blood of the prophets. So here, he talks about the blood of the prophets being there, and yep. So here, Matthew 23. Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them you shall kill and crucify, some of them you shall scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city, that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom you slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and you would not? Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. What's Babylon? Desolate. Wrath on them for the blood they poured out in the land, and because they had defiled it with their idols. I scattered them among the nations. Well, you can see this all through like Kings, all the idol worship and judges, all that stuff. I scattered them among the nations, and they were dispersed through the countries. I judged them according to their way and according to their deeds. So he dispersed them through the countries, just like Peter says. First Peter, an apostle of the Master Yahushua Messiah, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, Bithynia. Strangers. Scattered. 2 Peter. That may be James. Yep. James, a servant of God and of the Master Yahushua Messiah, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Greeting. So the 12 tribes, when James wrote his letter, were scattered abroad. 12 tribes. So, and for them to say the 12 tribes have melded back into just Jews is bunk. They're 12 tribes. When they return, they're the house of Israel, 10 northern 10 tribes, and the house of Judah and Benjamin. And then we'll see coming up, he gathers them back together. When they came to the nations where they went, they profaned my holy name, and that men said of them, these are Yahuwah's people, and have left his land. But I had respect for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the nations where they went. Therefore tell the house of Israel, thus says the Master Yahuwah, I don't do this for your sake, house of Israel, but for my holy name, which you have profaned among the nations, a house where you went. I will sanctify my great name. Not sure why that's in the Dead Sea Scroll there. I will sanctify my great name, which has been profaned among the nations, which you have profaned among them. Then the nations will know that I am Yahuwah, says the Master Yahuwah, when I am proven holy in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the nations and gather you out of all the countries and bring you into your own land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all your filthiness and from all your idols. I will also give you a new heart, and will put a new spirit within you. I will take away the stony heart of your flesh, and I will give you a new heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes. You will keep my ordinances and do them. You will dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. You will be my people, and I will be your God. Now, as defiled as that land is over there, do they have a new spirit and they have all this walking in the statutes? No. I will save you from all your uncleannesses. I will call for the grain and will multiply it and lay no famine on you. I will multiply the fruit of the tree and the increase of the field, that you may receive no more the reproach of famine among the nations. Then you will remember your evil ways and your deeds that were not good, and you will loathe yourselves in your own sight for your iniquities and for your abominations. I don't do this for your sake, says the Master Yahuwah. Let it be known to you, be ashamed and confounded for your ways, house of Yisrael. Thus says the Master Yahuwah, in the day that I cleanse you from all your iniquities, lawlessness, I will cause the cities to be inhabited, and the waste places will be built. The land that was desolate will be tilled instead of being a desolation in the sight of all who pass by. They will say, this land that was desolate has become like the Garden of Eden. Do they say that now? No, they do not. The waste, desolate, and ruined cities are fortified and inhabited. So he hasn't regathered them. You can see it all the way through. Yahuwah's hand was on me, and he brought me out in Yahuwah's spirit, set me down in the middle of the valley, and it was full of bones. We just went over that valley right there in like Enoch 52, I think. 53. Yeah, 53. He caused me to pass by them all around, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and behold, they were very dry. He said to me, Son of man, can these bones live? I answered, Master Yahuwah, you know. So, and, yep, so these bones are the whole house of Israel. So he's raising Israel out of the graves when they're going back into the land. I'll bring you up out of your graves, my people, and bring you into the land of Israel. Has everybody risen out of their graves yet? No. Therefore, they're not back yet. All right, so here, so one stick for Judah, another stick for Joseph, stick of Ephraim. He joins the sticks together. The nations will know that I am Yahuwah who sanctifies Israel when my sanctuary is among them forevermore. Has that happened yet? No. They won't. This stuff is supposed to happen. They won't defile themselves. Just take a peek at what's over there now. So, let's see, where am I at? Yep, so the children of Judah and children of Israel will be gathered together. Also, you can look, it's all over the place. Jeremiah 16, Jeremiah 23, Jeremiah 30, 31, Deuteronomy 32, Isaiah 11 through 15, Isaiah 42, 43, Isaiah 65, 66. It's all over the minor prophets. Resurrections in Daniel chapter 12. It's in Revelation when he seals the 144,000. It's all over scriptures. When he returns Israel, he comes back, judges the nations. Isaiah 2, the law goes out. People come to learn the law. See, it says he's gonna set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people. That's Israel. Second time. Second Exodus. Where they're going to return from, did that happen yet? No. From the four corners of the earth. It's all over the place. So 11. And here. Hosea chapter 2. Say to your brothers, my people, and to your sisters, my loved one, contend with your mother. Contend, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. And let her put away her prostitution. That's what Israel was guilty of. Jeremiah 3. Yep. Yep. Hast thou not? Yep. Thou didst retain many shepherds for a stumbling block to thyself. Thou hast a whore's face. Thou didst become shameless toward all. Right. So here, and Yahuwah said to me in the days of Josias the king, hast thou seen what things the house of Israel has done to me? They have gone to every high mountain and under every shady tree and have committed fornication there. And I said, after she had committed all these acts of fornication, turn again to me, yet she returned not. And faithless Yehuda saw her faithlessness. And I saw that for all the sins of which she was convicted, wherein the house of Israel committed adultery, and I put her away and gave into her hands a bill of divorcement. Yet faithless Yehuda feared not, but went and herself also committed fornication. And her fornication was nothing accounted of, and she committed adultery with wood and stone. And for all these things, faithless Yehuda turned not to me with all her heart, but falsely. Israel has justified himself more than faithless Yehuda herself. Go and read these words toward the north. And thou shalt say to me, return, O house of Israel, saith Yahuwah, and I will not set my face against you, for I am merciful, saith Yahuwah, and I will not be angry with you forever. Put away her prostitution from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked and make her bare as in the day that she was born, and make her like a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and kill her with thirst. Got a big gap there, 3 to 11. Some gaps in the manuscript. So I'm going to have to read off the Septuagint. Say to your brother, my people, and to your sister, pitied, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife. Make her again, Okay, here we go. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they are children of fornication. And their mother went a whoring, she that bore them disgraced them. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water and my garments and my linen clothes, my oil and all my necessities. Therefore, behold, I dredge up her way with thorns and will stop the ways, and she will not find her path. And she shall follow after her lovers and shall not overtake them. That's kind of bright. That's better. And she shall seek them. Stuff gets hard on your eyes when you get a little older. But shall not find them. She shall say, I will go and return to my former husband, for it was better with me than now. And that sounds exactly what the young son said when he wanted to return home. He said, I'll go. It will be better to be a servant in my father's house. If I can find it. It's in the Gospels. Parable of the, okay, that's what it is. Yeah. Parable of the foolish son. Oh. He wasted his inheritance. No, it's in there. Prodigal son, that's what it is. All right, let's see. Parable of the prodigal son. So here, all right, so here when he came to himself, he said, "How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will rise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants." There is another, so that's in Luke, right? Yep. Prodigal son. Luke, is it only in Luke? Looks like it. Yep. Well, you get the point. Yep. So she will say, I will go and return to my former husband, for it was better with me than now. And she knew not that I gave her her corn and wine and oil and multiplied silver to her, but she made silver and gold images for Baal, which in Hebrew, the Lord. I will cause all her celebrations to cease, her feasts, her new months. It's not moon, it's month. Her Sabbaths and all her solemn assemblies. We don't follow the Jew calendar. We follow the Zadokite priestly calendar that was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It does not go by the months. They use the months, but they don't go by the months. Thank you, Fox's Meadow. So yeah, her new months, her Sabbaths, and all her solemn assemblies. I will lay waste her vines. He didn't say I hate my feast and my new months and my Sabbaths and my solemn assembly. He said I hate hers because they were defiling them. They weren't keeping the Sabbaths properly. They weren't keeping the feast. They were doing after the nations. I will lay waste her vines and her fig trees, about which she has said, These are my wages that my lovers have given to me, and I will make them a forest, and the animals of the field shall eat them. And we seen earlier the nations laid desolate Israel, right? And the animals of the field, if you look in Enoch chapter, is it 82? You go to Enoch. Well, you can see in Peter's dream vision, the people were like animals coming down. He said, arise and eat, but it wasn't about food, it was about people. In Acts, I think, chapter 10. Well, you get the precept for that is in Enoch. We find out that the nations in Enoch's vision are the animals are representative of people groups. So 35. So it starts at, it's the history of the creation, fall of angels, demoralization of mankind, second dream, Enoch, vision of Enoch, history of the world to the founding of the Messianic kingdom, chapter 85. And you'll see here, black bull gored the red one. That's Cain killing Abel. And you'll see the biblical story unfold as you go down through there. The animals are people groups. I will visit on her the days of the Baals, to which she burned incense, when she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and went after her lovers, and forgot me, says Yahuwah. Sounds like Babylon. So 13. 14. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. I will give her vineyards from there in the valley of Achor for a door of hope, and she will respond there as in the days of her youth, as in the days when she came up out of the land of Egypt. So this is the second time. So as in the first time, she's going to do it this time. Time number 2. And it will be in that day, says Yahuwah, that you will call me my husband and no longer call me my master. That's interesting. We call him master now. Lord, right? Master. Call me my husband. So the bride came for the bridegroom. The bridegroom came for the bride. In that day, marriage supper of the Lamb. For I will take away the names of the Baals out of her mouth. So Baals, Hosea 2:17. So Balaam out of her mouth. Baal, Lord. Right. So Lord. What do we have all over our translations? We got Lord everywhere when his name's supposed to be in there. They will no longer be mentioned by name. And that's all of the false lords too. Lords over the nations. We got a bunch of them. Go to Deuteronomy 32 in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So here, when he Most High gave to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the children of men, he set the bounds of the peoples according to the number of the children of, nope, not Israel, God. B'nai Ha Elohim, the sons of God, angels. 17. 18, 19. It shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahuwah, that she shall call me my husband, and shall no longer call me Baalim. And I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and their names shall be remembered no more at all. Make them a covenant. Looks like the numbers are off. I'll make for them in that day a covenant with the wild beasts of the field, and with the birds of the sky. This 1 or 2? Yeah, it's 2. And with the reptiles of the earth, and I will break the bow and the sword and the battle from off the earth. No more war anymore. We see that all over Scripture. Hosea 2. Yep, so it shall happen in the latter days that the mountain of Yahuwah's house shall be established on the top of the mountains. It shall be raised above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. Many people shall go and say, come, let's go up to the house of the Elohim of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths, his ways. For out of Zion the law shall go out. So out of Jerusalem the law will go out. And Yahuwah's word from Jerusalem. He will judge between the nations and will decide between many peoples, and they will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, and nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. No more war. When the law comes out. See? When he returns, when Israel returns, you can keep reading the whole chapter. Micah 4 also. Micah 4, same thing. Almost word for word. And then you get more details. What's going to happen when he returns? So I will break the bow and the sword and battle from off the earth, and I will cause thee to dwell safely. If he says it, it's going to happen. He's going to do it. And I will betroth thee to myself forever. Yea, I will betroth thee to myself in righteousness, and in judgment, and in mercy, and in tender compassions. And I will betroth thee to myself in faithfulness, and thou shalt know Yahuwah. 22. Yep. It will happen in that day. I'll respond, says Yahuwah. I'll respond to the heavens, and they will respond to the earth. And the earth will respond to the grain and the new wine and the oil, and they will respond to Yezreel. I will sow her to me in the earth. So I'll respond to God sows. And I will have mercy on her who had not obtained mercy. And I will tell those who are not my people, you are my people. And they will say, my Elohim. So 23. Yahuwah said to me, Hosea chapter 3, go again, love a woman loved by another, an adulteress, even as Yahuwah loves the children of Yisrael, though they turn to other gods. Though they turn to other gods and love cakes of raisins, so I bought her for myself for 15 pieces of silver and a homer and a half of barley. I said to her, you shall stay with me many days. You shall not play the prostitute, and you shall not be with any other man. I will also be so toward you. For the children of Israel shall live many days without king and without prince. Yeah, sorry, having some back issues today. For the children of Israel shall live many days without king and without prince and without sacrifice and without sacred stone and without ephod or idols. That's interesting. They have the Urim and the Thummim, and it's gone now. So they'll live many days. Afterward, the children of Israel shall return and seek Yahuwah their God and David their king, and shall come with trembling to Yahuwah and to his blessings in the last days. That's a short chapter. Yep, last days. So Deuteronomy, let's go ahead and do that. 32. It's a good one. Deuteronomy 32, give ear, you heavens, and I will speak. Let the earth hear the words of my mouth. My doctrine will drop as the rain. My speech will condense as the dew. So his doctrine will drop as water, as the misty rain on the tender grass, as showers on the herb. For I will proclaim Yahuwah's name, ascribe greatness to our Elohim. If you go to So this gives us a biblical definition of what doctrine is, what good doctrine is. Proverbs 4:2, for I will give you good doctrine, forsake you not my law. God's law, good doctrine. No other scripture in the rest of scripture can overturn. He tells you what good doctrine is right here. That's it. Good doctrine, period. His law. Doesn't change. Don't overturn it. Matter of fact, he said, if we're worshiping the same God, Malachi 3:6, for I am Yahuwah, I change not. Therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. He made a promise to Abraham, and he's keeping his promise. So 4, nope, wrong one. 3, 4. There's 9, 6. Got a bunch of different manuscripts. Each one of these is a different scroll. So 4. So I'm trying to piece it together with the best textual witnesses that we have. And it's not that easy. As for God, his works are true and all his ways are judgment. Elohim is faithful and there is no unrighteousness in him. Just and holy is Yahuwah, so his commands are holy. They have sinned, not pleasing him, spotted children, a froward and perverse generation. Is this the way you repay Yahuwah, foolish and unwise people? Isn't he your father who brought who has bought you. He has made you and established you. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask your father, and he will show you, your elders, and they will tell you, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he separated the children of men. And I looked in the manuscript earlier, and I did not see this right here. So I don't know where this dude gets this right here at, because it says sons of God. So I'm going to go back. Separated children of men, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of God, sons of God. Yeah, he's probably just got a lot of times theology influences their translation. So instead of translating this as sons, he translated it as children. I'm appreciative of what he did here with the webpage, but that should be sons of God. For Yahuwah's portion is his people. Yaakov is a lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, in the waste howling wilderness. He surrounded him. He cared for him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. 10. As an eagle stirs up her nest that flutters over her young, he spread abroad his wings. Psalm 91. He took them. He bore them on his feathers. 12. Lots of missing parts. Come on now. Where's it at? 12, 12, 12. Nope. Come on. Sorry for all the scrolling. 12, 13. Yep. And the Septuagint agrees. Number of the angels of God. Set the bounds of the nations according to the name angels of God. Yahuwah alone led them. There was no strange God with them. Just like he led them out of the first Exodus. You got, tells you in Jude. See, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, how that the master, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not. And you can see that in the animal dream vision from Enoch. He led them out of Egypt. So he made them ride on the high places of the earth. Yep. He ate the increase of the field. He causes him to suck honey out of the rock, oil out of the flinty rock, butter from the herd and milk from the flock, with fat of lambs, rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the finest of the wheat. From the blood of the grape you drank wine. 14. Oh, here somewhere. 14 is missing too. Goodness gracious. Butter of cows and milk of sheep, with the fat of lambs and rams, of calves and kids, with the fat of kidneys of wheat. He drank wine, the blood of the grape. So Jacob ate and was filled, and the beloved one kicked. He grew fat, he became thick and broad. Then he forsook the God that made him, and departed from Elohim his Savior. They provoked me to anger with strange gods. With their abominations they bitterly angered me. Golden calf. 17. They sacrificed to demons, not God, to gods that they didn't know. That's what the nations do. They sacrifice to demons. So glad that festival they just had's over. I got a link below. Foxless Meadow. It should have the link for the website for the Dead Sea Scrolls. They sacrificed to demons, not God, to gods that they didn't know, to new gods that came up recently, to which your fathers didn't dread. 17. Doing some gymnastics here. I'm just going to go to the Septuagint. Thou hast forsaken Elohim that begot thee, and forgotten Elohim who feeds thee. You saw and abhorred because of the propagation of his sons and his daughters. He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end will be, for they are a very perverse generation, children in whom is no faithfulness. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. I will move them to jealousy with those who are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger that burns to the lowest Sheol. Devours the earth with its increase and sets the foundations of the mountains on fire. Sounds like Isaiah 66, 65, 22. I think it's in Jude too. So 22 to 23. I will heap evils on them. I'll spend my arrows on them. 24. They shall be wasted with hunger and devoured with burning heat and bitter destruction. I will send the teeth of animals on them with the venom of vipers that glide in the dust. Outside the sword will bereave, and in the rooms terror on both young man and virgin. The nursing infant with the gray-haired man. I said that I would scatter them afar. So he scattered them. I would make their memory cease from among them, from among men. Were it not that I feared the provocation of the enemy, lest their adversaries should judge wrongly, lest they should say our hand is exalted. The master has not done all this. 27. You say, this manuscript, he's got Yahuwah there. Yahuwah has not done all this. 27. That's the reason I'm learning Hebrew, so I can just read the manuscripts for myself. There's too many variances. There's good stuff preserved in the translation, but 28. I'm just going to go down here. 28. That's a lot of scrolling. Let's go over here. 28. Is a nation that has lost counsel, neither is there understanding in them. They had not sense to understand. I go to... Yeah, I remember last time I did this on Deuteronomy. Goodness. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one pursue 1,000 and two rout tens of thousands if God had not sold them and the master delivered them up? For their gods are not as our God, but our enemies are void of understanding. For their vine is the vine of Sodom, and their vine branch is of Gomorrah. Their grape is the grape of gall, their cluster is one of bitterness. Their wine is the rage of serpents, and the incurable rage of asp. Lo, are not these things stored up by me and sealed among my treasures? In the day of vengeance I'll recompense. 35. Maybe it's here. No, 37. Whensoever their foot shall be tripped up, for the day of their destruction is near to them, the judgments at hand are close upon you. For the Yahuwah shall judge his people, and shall be comforted over his servants. For he saw that they were utterly weakened, and failed in the hostile invasion, and were become feeble. And the master said, where are their gods on whom they trusted, the fat of whose sacrifices you ate? Drink the wine of their drink offering. Let them rise up and help you. Let them be your protection. See now that I myself am he. There is no other God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. There is no one who can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and declare, as I live forever, if I sharpen my glittering sword, my hand grasp it in judgments, I will take vengeance on my adversaries and will repay those who hate me. God, my back. Whew. That stretch. So 41 there. Yep, you'll see that. Enoch prophesied, seventh from Adam, prophesied these. This in Jude, saying, behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment. Let's see. I will make my arrows drunk with blood. My sword shall devour flesh with the blood of the slain and the captives and the head of the leaders of the enemy. Rejoice, heavens. So this is not in there. So you'll see the modern Bibles will say, rejoice, you nations. This is the judgment. The nations are not going to be rejoicing. Hey, that shouldn't be in there. Rejoice, heavens, with his people. So Who's going to rejoice? The nations? No. They're getting wiped out. They're getting totaled. The heavens will rejoice, and Israel will rejoice, and the people grafted into Israel. And bow down to him, all gods. It's over. Your reign is over. You go to, what's the divine council? There's a council of gods. He's put sons of God over the nations. So we got 70 nations at the Tower of Babel. Those angels, you'll see in Daniel, the prince of Persia withstood Gabriel. Michael had to go help him. Principalities and powers we can't see. That's still going on right now. Psalm 82. Elohim stands in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. He's the Most High God. His son is Prince Most High. Co-God of heaven and earth. And the angels, the lesser gods, you got the archangels, mighty archangels, and then you got the angels he put over nations. And you got Satan and his demons, and there's the whole bunch of principalities and stuff. But yeah, among the gods. Psalm 82. For he will avenge the blood of his sons, Israel. He will take vengeance on his adversaries and avenge those who hate him, and will make atonement for his land and for his people. He's going to make atonement. The Jubilee year, the year of release, the Day of Atonement. Jubilee rings in the next year. Isaiah 61, 60. He quotes it. Acceptable year of Yahuwah. 61. Yep. So to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn. The atonement, Jubilee year, he comes back. You can read more about it in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So that's 32, right? Yeah, 43. Pull that up right quick. I got a minute. If you go to, I got to clean my favorites out. Nope, wrong one. If you go to Hosea, it's not the best translation, but this is the one I started with. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. Not perfect. Zooming in. Giza Worms, Dead Sea Scrolls. And you can go here. Hosea. Commentary on Hosea. All right, where you at? Commentary on Hosea. This will be the exiled temple priest out in Qumran, Bethabara, where John was baptizing. Him, the Messiah, was most likely out there. You can see in the New Testament where they go out into the wilderness. They're right there where the caves were at. So here's like a 4Q 166 is, okay, so this is chapter 2:8. She knew not that it was I who gave her the new wine and oil, who lavished upon her silver and gold, which they used for Baal. Interpreted, this means that they ate and were filled, but they forgot God who. And if you think you know Bible, read the Dead Sea Scrolls, and you're going to find out real quick how much Bible you know. Interpreted, and that's me included. I see stuff in the scriptures and I think, wow, I know what that means. And you read the Dead Sea Scrolls and they tell you what it means. And you're like, ooh, I was way off. Interpret, this means that they ate and were filled, but they forgot God who. They cast his commandments behind them, which he had sent by the hand of his servants the prophets, and they listened to those who led them astray. They revered them, and in their blindness they feared them as though they were gods. Therefore I will take back my corn in its time and my wine in its season. I will take away my wool and my flax, lest they cover her nakedness. I will uncover her shame before the eyes of her lovers, and no man shall deliver her out of my hand, from out of my hand. Hosea 2 there. So they give the verse, and then they give the interpretation. Interpreted, this means that he smote them with hunger and nakedness, that they might be shamed and disgraced in the sight of the nations on which they relied. They will not deliver them from their miseries. I will put an end to her rejoicing, her feast, her new moons, her Sabbaths, and all her festivals. So that's from chapter 2. Interpreted, this means that they have rejected the ruling of the law and have followed the festivals of the nations, but their rejoicing shall come to an end and shall be changed into mourning. I will ravish her vines and her fig trees, of which she said, they are my wage which my lovers have given me. I will make of them a thicket, and wild beasts shall eat them. So this goes into chapter 5 here. So I just wanted to share that little bit right there. Again, that's Giza Verm's Dead Sea Scrolls. So there's a lot of good different translations if you want to look into it. I mean, that's just an online translation I use. This is a decent one to look at too, if you want to look at it. I like to use this when I study. So it's not the same people that did the website, Dead Sea Scrolls Bible. This is Martin Abegg Jr., Peter Flint, Eugene Ulrich. Don't get it today. It's the Sabbath. Buy it. Do it later. And also, so the one I just showed you was Giza Verm's Dead Sea Scrolls. Now there's different volumes, so make sure you get which one you want. Like there'll be different editions. So this is an older. This is 1998, right? It shows you here. See, this is a newer edition. So I mean, you might get the older one and like it. I don't have the older ones. I have the newer edition. And he's got a bunch of different editions. Also, the new one. Right. So here is, let's probably blow this up so you can see it a little better. The Dead Sea Scrolls, a new translation. That's the one that I like the most. Paperback is the new version. The old volume is hardback. So if you get the hardback, you're getting the older. See the publication date there. Also, these are Martinez. I use these as well. This is the second edition. I read both the first and second of Martinez. Martinez is pretty good. And Martinez has a study edition. It's really good too. So you can actually see the Hebrew. So you got volume 1 and volume 2 study edition of Martinez. So it's got the Hebrew on one page and it's got the English translation on the other. You got the newer edition. Still trying to learn to use it. Yeah, it takes a while. I mean, it's not easy. That's why everybody don't do it. It's going to take time. It's going to take hard work, and, you know. So yeah, those are really good. And yeah, I don't know why. I just felt like sharing that. Hopefully that helps you. And let me put this on here. I hope this was a blessing and was helpful to somebody. Good Bible study. And yeah, so cool. For those keeping the Sabbath, y'all have a happy rest of the Sabbath. And hope it blesses you.